Deep inside an S-rank dungeon, our main character Su Ming just finished spring cleaning the ultimate death den. This place is the world's oldest S-rank nightmare zone. He finally drags himself out looking absolutely toasted after treating god-tier monsters like chew toys. But surprise surprise, his backup squad is staring at him like a fresh rotisserie chicken. These absolute clowns actually demand he hand over the shiny new dungeon artifact. They know he's the god of slaughter, yet these bozos still confidently order his execution. Turns out, this backstabbing buffet was catered by Jiang Xuan, his day one bro. Now this fake friend wants to totally hijack Su's hard-earned powers. Su is understandably furious. He flexes for a showdown, daring these traitors to come grab the divine Ring of Defiance if they can. Seeing Su pop off with the ring's insane buff, the goons almost soil themselves. But Jiang Xuan smirks, telling his mob to wait for the grand finale. Suddenly, Ren Xiaoman literally drops from the sky, leaving our boy Su totally flabbergasted. She hits him with a dramatic hug, claiming she rushed over to save him from this epic trap. Su casually brushes it off. With his shiny new divine artifact, these trash-tier traitors are practically dust already. Still, Su drops the million-dollar question. How did Jiang Xuan's fan club track his exact exclusive dungeon location? Plot twist of the century, Ren aggressively shivs him in the gut, whispering that she was the snitch all along. Coughing up blood, Su demands why his waifu went rogue. Ren just pops a magic spell while Jiang Xuan absolutely loses his mind, cheering. He orders the lockdown. Ren scurries back while gnarly magical chains violently erupt straight from Su's fresh stab wound. The ultimate betrayal hits Su hard. His girl had been playing the long game with Jiang just to loot his legendary drop. Realizing he was just a glorified item farming bot, Su unleashes a torrent of absolute fury. The greedy mob instantly swarms him, desperate to delete his account and steal that sweet ring. Bam! Surprise skeletons crash the party. A girl named Ji Yao summons bony bodyguards to block the attacks, screaming for Su to hold on. Jiang Xuan laughs at this suicide mission, bragging that her spooky skeletons are totally useless against his massive pay-to-win army. Through the chaotic skill spam, Jiang Xuan dashes forward and viciously slices Ji Yao down. Su screams in pure agony. Before Jiang Xuan can steal his kill, our boy literally flexes his way out of the magical chains. The peanut gallery is completely shook. Su just pulled off a hacked divine-level move, completely sponsored by his overpowered new ring. Su instantly scoops up Yao, crying over why she would throw her life away after he repeatedly friend-zoned her. Reaching out with shaking fingers, she drops the ultimate tragic romance line, vowing to hit the game over screen together. Emotionally destroyed, Su cradles her, roaring a lethal threat to everyone. He puts his God of Slaughter title on the line, promising to spawn camp every single one of them in his next life. Seeing him moonwalk back into the deadly abyss, the traitors violently panic about losing their precious loot. Too late, Su casually yeets the legendary ring and swan dives into the dungeon with Yao. Blinking awake, he expects heaven but finds high school. Wait, it is the 127th awakening ceremony. Talk about serious lag. This is where 18-year-olds roll the gacha for their life classes, instantly deciding their entire destiny. Su rubs his eyes, pinching himself to confirm this isn't virtual reality. Boom, regression unlocked. He's a fresh-faced teen again. The exact same background characters are walking up to the stage exactly like his original playthrough. The timeline is unchanged. A psychotic grin spreads across his face as spicy memories of his bro's betrayal start fueling his revenge engine. On cue, backstabber Jiang Xuan unlocks the rare Magic Hammer Warrior class. The crowd totally simps over his 8-star talent and rich boy status. Meanwhile, Su is plotting 50 shades of murder in his head. Best girl Yao suddenly pops up saying she searched everywhere for him. Su stares like a stunned side character. After she awkwardly checks her face, he vaguely drops an advanced congratulations for her upcoming pull. While she processes his confusing spoiler alert, Su beams with joy. Then the announcer calls Yao up next. She taps the heavenly steel and holy smokes, the crowd completely loses it when she triggers a hidden profession too. Boom. A 7-star necromancer. The school drops their jaws at having 2 hidden classes in one batch. Talk about breaking the server. Finally, Su gets called up to touch the magical steely. Walking up the background, classmates totally trash-talk him, betting 0 cash on an orphaned underdog from Blue Star getting anything good. Ever since the beta testers awakened decades ago, hitting 18 meant participating in this mandatory magical lottery. These awakened big shots become total untouchables, casually bending national laws while hoarding all the server's premium currency. But surviving meant facing nightmarish beasts, brutal dungeons, and the deadly reality of awakening. In his past life, our orphaned main character Su survived on scraps before awakening mind-blowing star-tier attributes. He previously ruled as the legendary god of slaughter. Now back in time, he faces the awakening stone once more. Ready to flex his overpowered stats again, he touches the relic. Instantly, wild energy violently erupts. The crowd gasps. Is this a legendary 9-star class? But shock hits everyone, even Su, when the Ring of Defiance materializes. Bursting from the ancient stone, he snatches the artifact. This divine treasure literally time-traveled just to find him. A glowing system window chimes ding. His class is not just a beast slayer, it has evolved into the mythical sword god. The entire academy loses their minds over the chaotic aura. Just what monstrous class is he awakening? Meanwhile, onlookers confusedly stare as Su stands completely frozen on the center stage. Inside his mind, Su is sweating. Why did his badass God of Slaughter title suddenly upgrade to Sword God? He registers his aura, unlocking a dazzling golden talent, the divine sublimation of all things. Checking his insane stats, his growth rate crushes his past life's record. But hilariously, his active skill window is totally empty. While he aggressively taps the invisible system panels, the audience groans, wondering why he is just standing there. Finally, the system pings, initiating a deep scan of his time-traveling relic ring. Boom, a blinding pillar of light pierces the heavens, the crowd's jaws drop. He is a literal 10-star genius. But the punchline? The system proudly announces his public class as the utterly pathetic sword controller. The academy is paralyzed by the 10-star rating. Could they really have another hidden prodigy among them? Here is the joke. Sword controller is utter garbage. Wasting godly 10-star talent on a bottom-tier support class is pure comedy. His classmates immediately start mocking him. They laugh, claiming he will have to grind until he bleeds just to stay relevant. The arrogant mob writes him off entirely. To them, he is destined to be nothing more than a glorified battlefield cheerleader. Ignoring the toxic haters, the sweet-natured Yao bounces over, loudly praising his legendary 10-star potential. She smiles brightly, firmly believing he will completely break the limits of his supposedly trash class. Su chuckles and thanks her. With a smirk, he admits that playing the weak underdog is exactly part of his master plan. Yao tilts her head in utter confusion. Suddenly, the male students erupt into massive fanboy cheers as Ren glides up to the stage. Yao gazes at the undisputed school queen with sparkling eyes, eagerly waiting to see what elite class the beauty will awaken. Hilariously, Su just turns his back and walks away coldly, stating he could not care less about her. In his past life, that two-faced snake mercilessly backstabbed him for power. Eyes burning with cold fury, Su silently promises absolute revenge. Strolling through the bustling city streets, nostalgia hits him. The world is exactly as it was before the apocalypse. The only glitch in the timeline, his new class. He opens his interface and smirks, his god-tier concealment skill from his past life carried over. The system generously drops his veteran abilities right into his level 1 skill tree like a beautiful cheat code. This time around, he is playing the ultimate stealth game. No one will ever manipulate him as a tool again. Relying on his regression memory, he knows the dreaded novice dungeon trial drops exactly tomorrow morning. With his mythical stats clearing, that beginner zone will be an absolute walk in the park. However, taking down a specific hidden boss requires some serious firepower. It is time to go weapon shopping. Cut to a luxurious hotel, the scheming Ren playfully scolds the arrogant rich kid Jang for booking a suite right after the ceremony. Jang practically throws a tantrum, utterly enraged that Su stole his main character spotlight with that 10-star awakening. The manipulative queen gently strokes his ego. She whispers that Su's massive stats make him the perfect meat shield for their future plans. Flashing her direct messages, she brags about Su's pathetic past crush. With an evil smirk, she drafts a honey trap message to enslave him. Back to our hero, Su strolls into the city's premier armory, swarming with freshly awakened rookies blowing their allowances. The place is packed with newbies. Suddenly, his ears perk up as some rich brats drool over a legendary tyrant frigid sword. It is supposedly a priceless diamond-tier blade capable of flash-freezing beasts. Hearing this, our regressor lets out a stifled laugh. Thanks to his future knowledge, he knows that overly hyped popsicle stick is a complete and utter counterfeit. Out of nowhere, the elegant Zhang Lan from the massive Zhang Corporation blocks his path, claiming she recognizes his talent. With peak savage energy, Su stares completely blankly and hits her with the classic "I do not even know who you are." Unfazed by the brutal rejection, she offers him a golden quest: carry her precious little sister through tomorrow's lethal dungeon. Shocking Lan Su utterly rejects her, but this rich girl smirks, reminding our broke hero she can easily buy him any gear he wants. Taking the bait, Su casually points at the legendary Frosty Sky Sword. Price tag, 1 million advent coins. Sweating Lan scolds him for being ridiculous. She furiously demands if he is even worth that fortune, but our boy cheekily fires back that she literally just promised him a blank check. Flexing his pride, Su coldly declares that absolute financial power cannot solve every single problem. He warns Lan to make sure Yuning actually trains for the dungeon test. Her furious guard almost attacks, but she commands him to stand down and retreats. The entire crowd's jaws drop. Did this nobody really just roast the elite queen? Suddenly a text pops up. It is Ren, his two-faced ex, claiming her feelings have changed and begging for a spicy rooftop rendezvous. Realizing this timeline is exactly like his past life, he smirks and accepts. But first, a quick detour to the store's shady gacha section for swordstones. Let us be honest, pulling a high-grade weapon from these rocks is basically a scam. 99% of them are literally just useless, overpriced gravel. The panicked shop secretary tries to warn him away, but our hero refuses to budge. With a crazy grin, he declares he is ready to gamble everything on these cheap rocks. Boom, Su secretly activates his overpowered Eye of Intent. This divine cheat code reveals the hidden stats of everything, guiding him straight to the cheapest, trashiest looking stone. Without hesitating, he snatches up the dusty chunk of rock for a measly 50 advent coins. Cue the peanut gallery. Yong Ding, the classic arrogant rich bully, spots our hero's apparent foolishness. The goons ruthlessly mock him. They cannot believe he rejected the mighty Jang conglomerate's wealth just to play with actual garbage. Time to bait the trap. Su challenges them to a hilarious 5,000 advent coin wager on pulling a silver tier weapon. Thinking he is clinically insane, they eagerly accept. Flash Su channels his insight skill, plunging his hand right into the stone to violently extract its hidden treasure. The entire room freezes in shock. He effortlessly yanks out the wicked black iron crimson edge sword, a rare silver tier blade that literally drinks monster blood to heal its user. Smirking, Su notes this beautiful edgy death stick is absolutely perfect for his upcoming date. The bully's jaw drops to the floor. Yong Ding realizes he got played like a fiddle as Su flexes the weapon's ridiculous lifesteal, making a healer completely useless. Su playfully holds out his hand for the cash. Trembling with rage, the scammer coughs up the dough. The poor receptionist is absolutely speechless. It has literally been decades since someone struck the gotcha jackpot from those cursed junk rocks. Spending his newly scammed funds, Su casually drops all 5,000 advent coins on a premium scabbard. Easy money. Ding, the system window gleefully announces this stylish sheath will slash his weapon's durability loss by 50%. The system prompts him to activate hidden materialization, but our boy declines boldly, declaring he is going to forcefully upgrade its tier instead. Flexing his new gear, Su strolls out the door. On his walk home, he eagerly pulls up his overpowered status screen. He frowns. Why does his epic sword god title lack basic profession skills? Boom, right there on the talent tree sits a godly cheat sublimation of all things. This absolutely broken once-in-a-lifetime skill can force evolve any piece of loot in existence. Bam, Su smashes the upgrade onto his sword. It violently morphs, gaining the terrifying bloodthirst effect. Now his blood drinker passive instantly heals him whenever he slices his enemies. But wait, there is more. The second buff temporarily skyrockets his combat stats by 5 whole points for 30 insane seconds. Checking these crazy specs, Su finally unlocks the hidden weapon materialization. His overpowered prep for tomorrow's deadly dungeon raid is 100% complete. Fast forward to midnight, Su steps onto the breezy rooftop, spotting his treacherous ex-girlfriend Ren eagerly waiting in the shadows. She immediately turns on her fake seductive charm, whining about his tardiness, but her flirty smile vanishes as a massive sword comes flying right at her face. Crash! The blade stabs the concrete just inches away. Trembling, she screeches in terror, demanding answers. Cold as ice, Su announces his bloody revenge, leaving her completely baffled. Playing the victim, she stammers that she only invited him here to graciously accept his pathetic crush on her. She nervously cries that his sudden murderous aura completely ruins the romantic mood. Su's eyes narrow, remembering his tragic past. Right after the Academy's awakening ceremony, she had approached him, offering him his first taste of fake kindness. She expertly reeled him in manipulating his lonely heart until he foolishly asked her out and fell into her trap. Back then, those manufactured memories were the absolute highlight of his miserable, naive life. But the illusion is shattered. Su brutally exposes her secret alliance with Jang, panicking. Ren tries to lie her way out, but Su hilariously shuts her down, calling her a shameless gold digger to her face. Her cute mask shatters. Furious, the witch screams that without his rare talents, a peasant like him could never even breathe the same air as her. Spitting venom, she swears he will pay dearly for humiliating a queen. Yan Su could not care less. He casually threatens to nuke her entire social life, promising to leak her dirty little secret with Jang and destroy her precious, innocent reputation. Blinded by rage, the idiot lunges forward and grabs his sword. Big mistake. The blade's bloodthirsty aura instantly activates viciously, slashing right across her beautiful face. Blood sprays. Ren shrieks in absolute agony, completely horrified that her perfect manipulative moneymaker has just been brutally ruined forever. Su casually lifts his blade. Nice makeover, he smirks. But playtime is over. My revenge starts now. Ren shrieks, swearing Jung will crush him. Su yawns and walks away. Tell your boyfriend to bring it. Before fading away, he points at her new scar. Consider that / a parting gift. My pathetic feelings for you, completely severed. Cut to Principal Wong, tossing Su a sweet starter pack, cash and gear perfectly timed for the novice raid. Dawn hits at 6. Su crunches the principal's rank-up pill like candy. Did that geezer pity me? He chuckles. Just because I play sword controller. The pill tastes like hot garbage, but bam, a level up. He suddenly unlocks a busted passive talent, limitless sword mastery. Strolling toward the raid venue, Su smirks. It is time to traumatize these rich kids with real dungeon clearing. He arrives at the plaza only to get instantly mobbed. Thirsty rookies are begging to join his raid party. He mercilessly shoots them down. Sorry losers, my battle party is already completely full. Overhearing this, poor Yao's heart totally shatters. She camped out since dawn just for a chance to team up. Su leans in and whispers, "Stay back today. I am hunting something insanely dangerous and I cannot babysit you when things get way too bloody." Suddenly, an arrogant guy crashes their chat. "I am Yanzi, a level 9 demon ranger," he boasts, demanding Su join his squad. Su recognizes this clown from his past life. Before he can reject him, Yao boldly steps up. "Back off entirely, he is already my partner." She shoos the annoying crowd away. Su smirks. Actually pretty insanely reliable. Minutes before 7, the massive dungeon portal rips open. The principal's face flashes on livestream. "Listen up, rookies," he booms. "Slay monsters for points. You have exactly 24 hours to survive and conquer." As the principal hypes the crowd to group up, Yao turns around. Wait, where did he go? Su has completely vanished. The event officially starts, but the crowd suddenly gasps. No way did some crazy lunatic jump in early. Meanwhile, Su is already free-falling into the abyss. The familiar magical pressure washes over him. He is finally back home. In his past life, he foolishly grinded basic mobs for points. Not today. His eyes lock on the ultimate prize, the legendary hidden boss monster. Landing with a heavy thud, he scans the gloomy dungeon. "Interesting," he mutters. "This spawn point changed from my past life. The entire landscape feels completely warped and different. Brand new monster spawns. Totally unknown deadly roots." Su stealthily bypasses an elite tree fiend. He could easily one-shot it, but why waste stamina on garbage mobs? The hidden boss awaits. He pulls out his map, locking onto the boss zone. "Better hustle," he smirks. "Got to loot the absolute best gear before the newbies arrive." Fast forward to 7:30, Yunqing's squad spawns nearby. They shiver nervously. The dungeon is just way too quiet. Suddenly, pure chaos erupts. A terrified student sprints past them, chased by a massive rabid blood rat monster. Panic strikes, the team scatters, but within 60 seconds, crunch. 3 are brutally devoured, including their elite 6-star carry player. Back outside, the spectating crowd loses their minds. How did a top-tier prodigy just get wiped out instantly? The panicked announcer screams over the mic. "Group up immediately. The vanguard teams are getting completely slaughtered in there." Meanwhile, Yunqing sprints blindly. As the sole survivor, she runs until her lungs burn completely, losing her sense of direction. A giant shadow drops. A terrifying ape beast lunges with murderous intent. Frozen by absolute terror, Yunqing screams for her life. Flash. A blade dances through the air. Su violently slashes the beast back. While others are dying miserably, she regrets leaving her hiding spot. But watching his flawless blade work, her jaw drops entirely. This mysterious guy's power level is absolutely insane. She sighs in relief, but Su scoffs. "It is still breathing. Watch your back because I am not playing hero twice today." Terrified, she immediately sprints away to fetch backup. Perfect. No annoying witnesses. Su's eyes flash with golden insight. "Jackpot," he grins. This is no normal mob. It is the mutated Ape King. No wonder it tanked his strikes. The furious beast roars and charges. Whoa, Su blinks. This monkey is seriously insanely fast. He smoothly dodges the lethal claw. "You want a race?" Challenge absolutely cheerfully accepted. Tapping into his past life's memories, he ignites his third hidden skill, the legendary Divine Shadow Step. He vanishes like a ghost. As the beast swings wildly, Su materializes behind it, teasing it with razor-sharp slashes. Furious, it leaps backward. But Su's speed is on another dimension entirely. Yawn. Too slow, he mocks, brutally decapitating the monster in one single clean stroke. Ding. The system glows cheerfully. Defeating the Elite King drops a sweet piece of loot, a linear/skill scroll. Just a basic bronze tier move, but Su smirks. Perfect for completely wrecking this trash dungeon. Ding. First blood achieved. Suddenly a massive server-wide alert flashes for every single player. A sword controller has claimed the very first kill. Rumors run wild back at the academy. Some bet on Su, while skeptical haters quickly brush it off. After all, elite blade masters from rival schools are also braving this exact same trial. Thanks to his milestone, everyone suddenly scores free potions. Hearing his server-wide broadcast, Su sweats. He quickly activates stealth, desperate to keep his overpowered identity a total secret. Strolling deeper, he spots a vicious wolf pack. Perfect test dummies, he smirks, eager to try the epic skill stolen from the ape boss. Centering his focus, he triggers the legendary Iato strike. With a deep breath, he draws his flashing blade. A terrifying arc of pure aura explodes toward the unsuspecting pack. Sliced to ribbons before even blinking, the beasts drop like flies as a golden waterfall of experience floods his system. The ruthless, efficient grinding continues without a pause. He farms like a madman, racking up 8,000 experience points. Ding, at exactly 9:30, he hits level 9. The system immediately rewards his slaughter with a flashy new title, Legend of the Hungry Wolf. Swiping through glowing alerts, Su nods in satisfaction. This new quick draw technique is ridiculously overpowered. It hits beautifully when paired with his scabbard's passive trait, unleashing compressed energy the second he draws his weapon. Itching for more, he channels his aura, launching a massive crescent-shaped wave of pure destruction at the next wolf wave. But wait, the shadows part, revealing a terrifying level 10 Wolf King stepping onto the battlefield. It easily swats the strike away. Flashback to 8:30. Sweaty rookies awkwardly form parties, nervously stepping into the beginner trial zones. A mutated field mouse appears. They spam their skills in a chaotic, embarrassing brawl. Despite actual casualties, they miraculously slay the squeaking terror. The bruised newbies cry tears of joy over measly experience. They celebrate crushing the overgrown rodent. Drunk on their pathetic win, they vow to catch up to the mysterious legend who triggered the earlier server-wide potion drop. Ding. The system rudely interrupts, announcing that same exact player just scored first blood on an actual boss monster. Plot twist. This untouchable god is just a level 9 fisherman bagging the ridiculous leader of leaders title. Cold sweat drops. Is this supposedly trash-tier fishing class actually a hidden game-breaking, totally overpowered profession? Rewind 10 minutes. Su casually dances around the Wolf King, expertly slicing its health points to pieces. To him, this fierce boss is just a glorified puppy. Delivering the final blow, he smirks. Way too weak for a veteran reincarnator. Ding. Golden text pops up praising him as the silver-backed Wolf King Slayer. The jackpot drops, he scores 500 experience, instantly hits level 10, and watches his skill masteries skyrocket. Shiny boss-tier loot magically materializes straight into his spatial inventory. Back to reality, the exhausted newbies finish up. Ding pants heavily, finally realizing that basic mobs are absolute nightmares. Thankfully, the global title hands them an attack-boosting scroll. That literal lifesaver dropped just in time to stop a total team wipe. Knowing a joke-class fisherman is dominating, Ding rages, swearing the system is trolling them. Disgusted, he furiously hurls his pathetic novice blade into the dirt. He bitterly whines about wasted gold, crying over the epic gear he could have bought instead. A minion nervously suggests the fisherman just got lucky, but the sore loser fiercely bites his head off. Throwing a massive tantrum over his miserable leveling speed, he points fingers aggressively, calling his entire party useless dead weight. Eyes bloodshot, he swears to hunt this annoying fisherman down and brutally send him straight to the respawn screen. The terrified minions quickly calm him down, returning to farm low-level trash. Meanwhile, hitting level 10 unlocks Su's class advancement quest. The system chimes, rolling a randomized trial based on his current surroundings. Instead of panicking, Su smiles in relief. Why? In his tragic past life, he foolishly escaped the beginner zone way before hitting level 10. That totally bricked his account, forcing his quest to scale to a deadly E-rank dungeon. He suffered until level 15 just to barely survive it. By then, the delayed rewards were basically useless garbage. Not this time, he is rewriting destiny. Ding, his new mission pops up flawlessly. Slay the Red Rock Cave Guardian, a terrifying elite boss. Checking the map, Su chuckles. It is right inside the tutorial zone. For a reincarnator, this is an absolute breeze. Smirking like a true protagonist, he dumps his accumulated points straight into agility. Bam. Agility breaks past 100. The system chimes in, tossing him a legendary sword god profession skill, Sword Martial Master. A glorious low-grade platinum passive, it completely ignores level requirements, letting him swing literally any sword in existence. Meanwhile, at Xuan City's first academy, a nervous board member scrambles to report to Principal Wang. She drops the juicy rookie dungeon data, putting a massive spotlight on the ultimate standout talents. Principal Wang squints at the paperwork. Wait a minute, are some stats missing here? Our boy Su is totally missing. Sweating, the board member swears on her life that this is the complete unedited dungeon data. She aggressively points at the mysterious rookie who casually claimed first blood in the dungeon. Given the crazy timing and zero identity, she bets her salary that this ghost is Su. Wang freezes. He gave that brat a shiny novice gift pack. Why is his supposedly underwhelming performance not even in the top 500? Boom, the doors burst open. Xuanjing City's terrifying vice mayor An Ranling kicks her way into the room. She gets right in Wang's face angrily, demanding some answers. He literally hyped up Su's insane 10-star awakening to her just yesterday. But now, her secretary's dungeon data shows absolutely zero trace of the kid. To her, this is pure nonsense. Sweating bullets, Wang desperately tries to calm her and lower those crazy expectations. He nervously explains that 10-star talent or not, his early game combat power is absolute garbage. Ranling is not buying it. She accuses Wang of lying just to scam more Heavenly Tower Council qualification tokens. Like a shark smelling blood, she pivots to Yawns, a 9-star prodigy sitting pretty at second place. She hypes him up as their ultimate weapon against the rival city's absolute genius, Lin Guang. Then she casually tosses in Zhong Tong, the golden boy of the Zhong family. 8-star talent plus an ultra-rare hidden profession. Now that is a solid backup plan. Doing the math, she coldly slaps 2 qualification tokens down, completely ignoring the 3 token minimum rule. She brutally roasts his academy's recent flops, fail this time and they get absolute 0 slots next year. Ignoring his desperate excuses, she flips her hair and leaves to do actual important VIP things. Left in the dust, Wang stares blankly at his 2 pitiful tokens. Heartbroken over losing a slot instead of gaining one, he mentally prays that Su miraculously pulls off something legendary. Cut back to the wild. Outside Red Rock Cave, Su checks his map. Mission location reached. The road here was hilariously empty. Not a single annoying monster dared to cross his path. But wait, he never actually explored this dungeon in his past life. It is completely uncharted territory. Tiptoeing in like a ninja, a level 6 gold-digging goblin suddenly jump scares him out of nowhere. Su instantly turns the ugly little pest into minced meat before it can even squeal. Ding, bad news. The system happily announces he just triggered the cave's ultimate goblin awareness. Goblins literally start raining from the walls. Clearly, this first-class change quest is no walk in the park. Ding again. The system cheerfully warns that every single goblin is about to gang up on him. Apparently, full goblin mode means absolute chaos, completely destroying any shred of dungeon etiquette. Su starts slicing them like cheap vegetables, but holy crap, there are too many. His weapon durability is crying. Whoosh! A massive, overly buff goblin tries a cheap shot. Su dodges only to face a terrifying arrow storm. Arrows graze his skin. What the heck? These ugly little green dudes actually have some brain cells. The endless onslaught keeps coming, painfully chipping away at his health points. Su does some quick gamer math. His early game mana pool absolutely cannot survive this drawn-out war. Staring down an elite goblin and his annoying fan club, Su officially cancels the brute force strategy. Screw pride, time for tactics. Su ducks into the shadows, ready to troll these monsters with deadly traps. Deep inside Red Rock Cave, the clueless goblins walk perfectly into his beautifully crafted ambush. Swish, slash, he brutally deletes them one by one. Brushing off the dirt, he coldly analyzes the battlefield. The gamer conclusion: control the map, hold the high ground, and his Iato skill will absolutely break the game. In a flash, he wipes out the goblin trashes, leaving only the elite monster trembling. Meanwhile, outside, terrified rookies huddle by the entrance, paralyzed by the dungeon's brutal difficulty. Lurking among them is Ding and his clueless lackey, the very losers who surrendered their sword. They bicker over whether Su or any mere mortal would dare enter a level 7 death zone. Mid-argument, a lone figure strolls out of the shadows. Speak of the devil, it is Su. Now at level 11, our overpowered main character casually scrolls through his epic system rewards. Radiating absolute confidence, his peace is shattered when Ding launches a pathetic sneak attack from behind. With godlike reflexes, Su simply sidesteps, letting the absolute clown hit thin air. Humiliated Ding commands his goons to box Su in. Too bad our hero never planned on running. While Ding intensely monologues about his epic revenge, Su completely blanks on who this random mob is. Triggered by this absolute disrespect, the furious bully screams at his lackeys to execute him immediately. As the pathetic mob charges, Su smirks. What a perfect time to test drive his brand new toy. With a single thought, his blade materializes. Telekinesis activates, turning the sword into a deadly flying weapon. The weapon dances through the air effortlessly, slicing clothing and pushing the terrified attackers back. The goons freeze in pure horror. Telekinetic sword mastery is a veteran technique impossible for a rookie. Little do they know, Su looted this from the elite boss using his cheat talent for a gold tier upgrade. Feeling the perfect synchronization, Su chuckles, imagining the absolute uproar this legendary skill will cause. Returning to his loot, he cracks open the dungeon rewards and uncovers a super rare hidden map. The scroll reveals a secret route connecting the first-class awakening to the final stage. Scanning the details, a crazy new quest pops up. It dives deep into the nasty goblin ecology. Meanwhile, miles away, an overly flashy all-girls rookie squad flawlessly annihilates some low-level trash mobs. The ladies cheer loudly, hyping up their absolutely flawless combat synergy. One girl showers praises on Fenfenzi, their 7-star awakened powerhouse, for absolutely hard carrying the entire team. While the squad happily loots, Fenfenzi turns around and her blood runs cold. One member has vanished. She frantically scans the perimeter only to stumble upon a truly horrifying piece of evidence. Panic sets in as the looting squad fully grasps that their friend was snatched away instantly. Cold terror grips the girls. You see these foul goblins hide in gloomy, sunlight-deprived caves, lurking like filthy rats in the dark. This shadowy terrain shields them from predators, creating the absolute perfect hunting ground for sinister ambushes. These pack animals are ruled by vicious chieftains, managing their chaotic societies with absolute primitive authority. From shamans to warriors, their terrifying ranks grow endlessly due to their disgustingly rapid monster reproduction rates. Learning about their vile habit of kidnapping human girls, Su reaches the dungeon's exact map coordinates. But shockingly, there is absolutely nothing but empty dirt. Did this overpowered gamer actually misread the map? Activating his legendary Eye of Insight, the invisible truth instantly reveals itself. The blood-red cavern sits deep underground, cleverly masked by dense, illusionary smoke. Slipping inside, Su quietly drops into the main chamber, instantly spotting a filthy pack of goblin guards. Knowing this entire monster colony shares a hive mind, he realizes one single kill would trigger an alert. Hiding in the shadows, he patiently scouts the perimeter for the ultimate shiny loot. Suddenly, a horrifying sight stops him cold. A brutally tortured student's body confirms the darkest, beastly rumors. Moments later, he spots another victim. It is Zhang Yunting, completely ensnared by the exact same trap. Unlike the tragic first girl, Yunting is fiercely fighting back, desperately holding the drooling monster horde away. Classic Su logic kicks in. He happily decides to let her tank the aggro while he steals the treasure. Just as he sneaks away, she screams a massive bounty. Her wealthy vice director sister will reward her savior. Connecting the dots to the rich VIP he met earlier, Su instantly changes his tune. Time to play hero. As the drooling mob leaps, a golden blade suddenly crashes right into their ugly faces. With a flick of his wrist, his blade shoots from its sheath. A blinding flash erupts the legendary Iaido slash. The light-hating goblins absolutely panic, scattering into the shadows like terrified cockroaches. And since our guy did not shed a single drop of blood, the rest of the goblin horde sleeps on peacefully. Yining gazes up with starry-eyed gratitude, but Su hits her with the classic, "I was just passing by, kid." She desperately tries, dangling a fat reward in his face, but he coldly shuts her down. "Try surviving first, newbie." As he turns to ditch her, she begs for her life, but Su is ruthlessly pragmatic. "You are just dead weight." Wait, his gamer senses tingle. A hidden treasure is buried right beneath their feet. He instantly digs it up and slaps his broken sublimation talent onto the loot to force an epic upgrade. Boom, the basic silver box morphs into a dazzling low-grade gold-tier lottery chest. This bad boy is the ultimate gacha pull. It boasts insane drop rates for top-tier gear and legendary skill books. He cracks it open only to loot a Shadowflow armor set and a platinum soul healer scroll. What a weird combo. Staring at this utterly random mismatched gear, Su visibly deflates. Is this really his grand prize? After all that heavy lifting, he totally expected a game-breaking jackpot. The assassin armor is somewhat decent, but the healer scroll is basically useless garbage for a pure damage swordsman like him. Yining nervously squeaks that the system might be favoring her. Plot twist, she is actually a legendary 7-star soul healer. Su is completely shook. Ding. The system chimes in cheerfully, officially locking the incredibly lucky Yining in as his newest party member. Cut to the dungeon's dark zone. Poor Yao accidentally wanders straight into a terrifying bloodbath of her own classmates. Before panic can fully set in, the psycho killer Li locks eyes with her. She is officially his next prey. Heart pounding, she somehow manages to sprint ahead, melting into the shadows to pull off a desperate stealth escape. Crunch, she steps on a loud rock. The crazed maniac instantly zeroes in and lunges with a bone-crushing strike. Relying on pure adrenaline, she barely dodges the lethal blow by a hair, scrambling away to catch her breath. Li pauses, genuinely amused by her slippery reflexes. He chuckles, totally shocked that a fragile-looking girl could dodge his fury. Well. Maybe Xuanjing Academy is not filled with complete garbage after all. Yao screams out in terror. Why slaughter them, when his elite uniform screams that he belongs to a rival city? The absolute madman smirks. His level 10 class advancement quest literally demands the blood of 50 rival players. Since massacring his own friends would be awkward, he happily traveled all the way down to their pathetic school to farm easy kills. He mockingly blames them for being the weakest, absolute worst-ranked academy in the entire region. They are just free EXP. He dashes forward like a demon. Yao panic summons her undead skeletons, but he violently shatters them into useless bone dust. Laughing at her pathetic struggle, he drops the hammer, but right before the lethal strike lands, a mysterious blade deflects it. Enter Yanzi and his squad posing dramatically. He boldly swears to protect her. Back at the cave, Su casually feeds his loot fragments to the system, triggering a glorious quest complete notification for his class change. Boom, promotion unlocked. His raw blade, power blinding speed and combat mastery instantly double in strength. The lucky Yining absorbs that platinum scroll, unlocking god-tier support skills that actually make the stoic Su widen his eyes. He immediately realizes something. This girl is a walking infinite luck cheat code. Greed instantly takes over his brain. With her god-tier luck boosting his drops, he shamelessly does a total shift and teams up. Overjoyed, the bubbly girl immediately starts yapping. She hilariously rants about how her sister's expensive hired muscle ended up being completely useless trash. Su internally groans at her chatter, but endures it purely to exploit her broken buffs. Now bound to the lucky yapper, his system abruptly pings with a frantic SOS message from Yao. Better investigate. Cut back to the bloodbath. Yan and Yao stare in absolute despair. The psycho killer Li had basically been playing on easy mode. In mere seconds, Li casually slaughters Yan's entire backup squad without dropping a single sweat. He swats away Yan's flashy magic attacks like flies, making the hero look utterly pathetic. Yan's brain finally connects the terrifying dots. This monster is Li, a genius 10-star talent boasting the ultra-rare Blade Maniac class. Stepping over the bodies, the edgy madman sighs. He casually complains that 35 kills is barely enough and his bloody quota remains unfulfilled. As the killer approaches, the terrified ranged fighter Yan frantically scrambles for a survival plan. His only tiny sliver of hope is creating distance, but against a high-speed maniac breathing down his neck that is practically impossible. Yao drops the bomb that her mana is completely drained, leaving her necromancy out of order. They both exchange that classic look, knowing they are totally cooked. Backed into a corner, Li full sprints at Yan, deciding he is the easiest target to delete. Plot twist, Yao unexpectedly jumps in to block his path. She yells at Yan to run while she plays human shield, making Li furiously annoyed at the delay. Li winds up a deadly finisher, but a sword violently yeets into the scene. Enter Su, making a ridiculously perfectly timed hero landing. Yao had literally just texted him an emergency warning to stay away, but classic Su completely ignored the memo and showed up anyway. Spotting her triggers tragic flashbacks from his past life, remembering how her epic sacrifice to protect him got her permanently deleted. Not today, trauma, he vows to be the shield this time. Using telekinesis, he casually yanks his blade back, blocking Li with main character swagger. Li squints, instantly recognizing him as that infamous level 10 sword controller from the rumors. Li expected a squishy controller, not an absolute unit pushing him back. Meanwhile, Yan cheers from the cheap seats, totally fanboying over Su. Feeling pumped, Yan actually considers throwing in some ranged support to steal an assist. Out of nowhere, Yan and Yao get hit with a glorious wave of unexpected healing magic. Yingqing casually steps out, introducing herself as the official party member of Su, dropping their jaws straight to the floor. Wait a minute, did Su not insist he was a strictly solo player? Seeing him with a pretty teammate instantly sparks some serious salty jealousy. As she buffs their health, Yin frantically begs her to hurry so they can help. Yinqing just laughs, casually dropping that Su is ridiculously overpowered. Sweating from the intense clash, Li internally screams, trying to figure out why a squishy controller is moving like an absolute martial arts prodigy. Realizing he is outplayed, Li praises the absurd skills of Su, reluctantly admitting the kid hits way harder than expected. Still, his ego will not quit. Li dramatically declares it is time for the ultimate showdown. Hearing his boss music start, Su casually mentions he knew of the legendary reputation of Li before, but never got to clap him personally. Flashing a cocky smirk, Su full sends it right back at him, eager to test whose steel is actually superior. Once in range, Li launches a desperate flying stab, but Su just parries it like he is swatting away a totally annoying mosquito. Li smugly announces, "You activated my trap card," completely convinced Su just fell for his brilliant master plan. Li monologues that his residual energy acts like a root spell. He hurls his second sword, but Su casually chucks his own blade to deflect it. Flexing his controller skills, Su whips the sword around mid-air, rocketing it straight back at a now totally defenseless, panicked Li. Li frantically dodges the attack, but still gets a totally humiliating graze in return. Furious Li scrambles for his weapon and wildly charges, but Su effortlessly sidesteps every single attack, making Li look absolutely ridiculous. Su casually recalls his sword just to flex on his raging opponent. Meanwhile, Yinqing finally finishes topping up the health of the squad. Fully healed, Yan and Yao dramatically sprint over to join the boss fight. But plot twist, they arrive only to find Su already dusted the guy. As Su turns away, Li burns his final health to try a dirty sneak attack. It is his absolute ultimate skill totally saved up for this cowardly final moment. He drops a wild rainforest rapid blade combo, unleashing a ridiculous blender of non-stop desperate slashes. Panicking at the sudden ambush, Yao attempts a heroic dive, but Yan grabs her, screaming that she will just get instantly vaporized. She wrestles like a maniac, dramatically declaring she will happily accept a game over if it means keeping Su completely safe. But Su just casually yells back, telling her to chill out and stay completely back. Chung stares in absolute disbelief. He literally hits Su Ming with an entire ultimate combo, yet the dude is still somehow breathing. His brain is totally glitching out. Suddenly, the voice of Su Ming mockingly asks if he is actually sure he landed the hit. A cold sweat drops as Chung suddenly realizes the trash talk is definitely not coming from the front. Poof, the Su Ming he thought he grabbed magically dissolves into thin air. He just got totally bamboozled by a basic decoy jutsu. Su Ming spawns behind him, brutally roasting his slow reaction time. Rocking a brand new coat, he makes sure to flex his overflowing aura. Stepping into the spotlight, Su Ming chuckles, betting Chung never expected a squishy sword controller to pull out a dirty trick like that. Surprise, our boy is fully decked out in the overpowered shadow set he greedily looted from that shiny treasure chest earlier. Its passive buff Surge of Darkness is totally broken. After equipping it, literally every single sword skill slaps enemies with extra spicy dark attribute damage. This dark damage completely ignores armor, plus the set comes with a troll-tier shadow clone ability that spawns a perfect decoy for defense. Better yet, attacking while the clone is active automatically triggers an extra follow-up slash like a built-in cheat code. That bonus slash hits for a whopping 50% of his normal attack damage, making him totally busted. Casually strolling up to a terrified Chung Su Ming shamelessly admits he is only flexing this hard thanks to his hilariously overpowered gear. Cheng's brain absolutely short-circuits, a full armor set inside a mere novice tutorial zone impossible. The only logical explanation, he somehow triggered a class advancement quest right under his nose. Pure panic sets in. His privileged ego shatters knowing Su Ming actually beat him to the punch. Looking down at the pathetic rival, Su Ming coldly declares it is time for the final execution. The death blow descends, but a blinding cheat-like aura suddenly erupts from the heavens, shielding the rich kid. Poof. The coward teleports away, leaving Yanzi to identify the ultimate pay-to-win escape artifact. Zhao gasps in disbelief. Yanzi breaks it down. It is a cowardly emergency exit button from the danger zone. This luxury trinket costs hundreds of thousands of credits. You definitely cannot farm this insane loot here. Su Ming chuckles. The rival city totally blew their budget to protect their precious 10-star golden boy. Talk about unfair financial backing. Meanwhile, at exactly 2 p.m., a panicked shout shatters the peaceful administrative office. Director Wong is aggressively slurping his instant noodles, barely glancing up from his holy meal. With noodles hanging from his mouth, he casually demands the real-time leveling scoreboard of the freshman. It is way worse. The data logs show a massive anomaly at the 9 o'clock sector around noon. Wong just shrugs. Newbies getting wiped out by oversized tutorial bosses is standard gaming protocol, right? Wrong. The system analytics prove these deaths were brutal. Player kills executed by foreign district invaders. Wong drops his noodles. The rival academy is already deploying their dirty, underhanded assassination tactics. He furiously orders her to back up the digital evidence immediately. Being the absolute lowest-ranked academy means they are basically free experience points for those regional bullies. What about the main clearing squad? The assistant sighs in relief, reporting that the vanguard is advancing smoothly. Our local rookies have already conquered the majority of the strategic fast-travel waypoints. The grainy surveillance feeds show our top-tier prodigies rallying massive guilds to raid the final boss chambers. Zhang is absolutely dominating the front line, living up to his explosive, high-potential reputation. Wong prays this star pupil will crush the local tyrant, finally dragging their school out of the gutter. The live leaderboard updates Zhang has forcefully hit level 9, completely neck and neck with the genius Yanzi. Yuning and Jiao are fiercely dominating the silver and bronze ranks right behind them. Wong nods proudly, but suddenly frowns. Where is Su Ming? The system shows his name is completely wiped from the top rankings. Frustrated, Wong barks at the technician to dig through the absolute bottom of the database. Their jaws drop to the floor. The legendary First Blood Taker is pathetically hard stuck at level 2. His experience bar has not moved an inch. Meanwhile, Su Ming is secretly dominating at a terrifying level 14. Ding hitting that milestone forces the system to award him a ridiculously flashy hidden skin. His entire party has become an unstoppable meat grinder, power leveling like absolute madmen in just 2 hours. Yuning bows her head. They all owe this godlike carrying speed entirely to Su Ming's overpowered aura. Jiao cheers wildly. Their party composition is utterly flawless, with top-tier healing and devastating sniper support. Add in her immortal skeleton meat shields plus their incredibly broken frontline tank named Su Ming. Su Ming gives a cheeky smirk, pretending to be a humble passenger. Jiao playfully scolds his fake modesty, knowing Cheng would have easily wiped them. Starstruck by his sheer dominance, Jiao confidently declares they could utterly obliterate the final dungeon overlord right now. Su Ming's eyes gleam dangerously. Why settle for trash? He is aiming for the legendary ultra-lethal hidden boss. Luckily, he just snagged the mythical water ripple key, looted straight from that crushed elite spiked beast. To awaken this secret nightmare, they must decode 3 encrypted system riddles and gather their legendary artifacts. Riddle number 1. When the silver moon grazes the shoreline, the jade waters shall split open, and the crimson armor slumbers deep within the freezing abyss. Su Ming instantly cracks the code. He commands the artificial system to lock onto the silver moon's coordinates. Since tutorial zones lack weather mechanics, this celestial clue must point to the mystical crescent-shaped botanical garden. The squad boldly marches right past the shimmering lake ahead. Bingo! They finally track down the hidden boss's lair. The second riddle was a total headache, something about lake water vaporizing and using iris petals as a guide under the sunken sand. While ancient armor upholds dusty old promises. Surprise, Su Ming casually admits he has hoarded trigger items since stepping into the dungeon. He mashed the monster zone's iris flower with a water ripple key he farmed earlier. As for that tricky third riddle, it basically said to shine a star-patterned key onto the lake's bottom. 9 magic ripples surround the bedrock. The sleepy night waits for light to pierce the muddy waves. Su Ming combines his loot, and the second it starts glowing like a neon sign, he dangles it right over the water. His squad's jaws hit the floor. Jiao frantically asks if he secretly swallowed an answer key. Suddenly, a massive whirlpool spins up. An intimidating knight bursts from the water sword already drawn for battle. This terrifying dude rides out on his horse dramatically, reciting the solved riddles. Blaring red system alerts flood their vision. The hidden boss has officially spawned. The Guardian of the Lake, the legendary Lost Knight. Ready to throw hands, Yans and Jiao instantly join Su Ming's party, crowning him their fearless captain. Su Ming yells for everyone to brace themselves. The ultimate hidden boss fight is officially on. Cut to 15 minutes later. The whole squad is cowering in the bushes. Yeah, this boss was totally built different. They nervously whisper to Su Ming, asking if playing hide-and-seek like terrified chickens is actually a valid strategy. Su Ming just gestures wildly at the knight. The guy's horse is basically a sports car. Fighting him head-on is pure suicide. Turns out that crazy mount boasts 500 speed points. Absolute hacker stats. Their combined stats wouldn't even equal half of this monster's power. While they squat in the bushes, the knight is out there casually bulldozing random students. In the blink of an eye, this overpowered boss sweeps away 3 whole waves of poor students. Since they totally pressed the big red summon button, the guilt trip kicks in. Time to fix their own mess. Jiao whispers that she followed his crazy plan. They completely drained the squad's mana potion stash just to rig a massive delay trap. Su Ming gives her a thumbs up. He then signals Yans and Yuning to stick to their totally foolproof master plan. Funny thing is, in Su Ming's past life he totally avoided this nightmare boss. I mean, it's basic common sense. No sane newborn awakened would purposefully summon a hidden boss in the tutorial stage. Plus, you only get one shot at the novice dungeon, no redos allowed. That's why this boss is a complete myth. Su Ming just stumbled upon the puzzle answers in some dusty old records and casually memorized them. But nobody warned him that this boss would be rocking a 500 speed glitch horse. Talk about an unfair patch update. To beat this annoying speed demon, there's only one viable strategy. Ground him, yank him right off that stupid horse. Yans bravely kicks off phase 1. Posing dramatically on a cliff, he spams hunting shots directly at the boss. The knight deflects them like pesky mosquitoes. The shots that actually land just ping harmlessly off his insanely thick armor. But those annoying little pokes do the trick. The furious knight completely locks his aggro onto Yans. Seeing the boss charge him, Yans panics and screams at the top of his lungs for Yuning to act. Yuning immediately hits her cue. She triggers a massive fire, pluming thick, blinding smoke straight into the knight's drag strip. The master plan is simple. Yans plays the ultimate annoying bait using his long-range pokes. Then Yuning drops a glorious smokescreen right in the boss's fast lane, completely blinding his radar. Su Ming shamelessly stole this dirty trick from the goblins back in the Red Cave. It works like an absolute charm. Lost in the smoke, the boss suddenly trips over a bunch of random skeletons acting as speed bumps. The knight furiously swings his sword at the bony hurdles. But Bam Jiao triggers her trap, completely snaring him. Her perfectly timed prep work pays off. As the horse drastically loses speed, Su Ming seizes his golden moment. He launches a sneaky attack from behind. Even he admits he could never solo this guy. But teamwork makes the dream work. Su Ming crash lands on the clueless boss like a meteor. Su Ming violently wrestles the knight right out of his saddle. The squad goes absolutely feral, cheering because their crazy grounding tactic actually worked. But Jiao crashes the party, screaming at them to stay frosty. This is only phase 1 of the nightmare. 10 minutes ago, Jiao dropped a grave warning. Even if they pull off the epic dismount, taking down the actual boss while running on 0 mana is basically a suicide mission. But Su Ming just flashed a confident smirk. He told her they did their part, so leave the actual beatdown entirely to him. Our main character boldly claimed he'd solo this monster. Now it's an absolute slugfest. Su Ming charges fearlessly, steel ringing against steel in a deadly dance. From the sidelines, his party watches this insane clash with dropped jaws. Yanzi gets antsy to help out, but Jiao shuts him down. Remember the boss's orders. Su Ming wanted this one-on-one. They have to trust their leader. Besides, they've got their own ridiculous side quest. The heat turns up. Su Ming spams Shadow Step, raining lightning-fast blows across the knight's heavy plating. Against his absurd agility, the knight moves like molasses. Look at you crawling without your pony, Su Ming taunts. The knight's speed plummeted from a terrifying 500 to a pathetic 55. So much for this big, scary hidden boss. What a joke. Su Ming unleashes absolute hell trying to speedrun this execution. But horribly, his ultimate barrage hasn't even scratched a quarter of that stupid armor. Making matters worse, his weapon durability just tanked to 7%. Reality hits hard. The sword won't survive this tanky nuisance. This metal head is becoming incredibly annoying. Beating a tactical retreat into the trees, Su Ming spots the confused knight wildly scanning the battlefield, searching for his ride. Not completely brain dead, are you? Su Ming chuckles, knowing the beast is the key to the knight's speed. Too bad for him, that legendary mount is currently being kidnapped by Su Ming's party. Meanwhile, Jiao's squad has successfully horse-napped the beast miles from the fight. Though, wrangling this incredibly stubborn pony is proving totally chaotic. Sweating bullets, Zhao barks orders. They must do whatever it takes to prevent a tragic rider reunion. This is the critical task Su Ming dumped on them. Taking down the boss was his job, but this chaotic rodeo is theirs. They must completely lock down this furious steed, absolutely zero chance of mounting allowed. Back in his leafy sniper spot, Su Ming slowly sheathes his battered blade. Dropping back into the fray, he rapid draws, maximizing the brutal passive skills of his unsheathing strike. But wait, the knight counters with a massive roaring water blade. A lethal tsunami of aura almost slices Su Ming in half. Su Ming frantically backflips as the earth shatters. Whoa, this tin can actually knows magic attacks. The knight charges like a freight train. Su Ming desperately kites him, throwing out sword control to survive. This aggressive clash is punishing. His blade drops to a terrifying 3% durability. One more bad hit and it's dust. Activating his analytic eyes, the knight's armor is finally glowing red, right on the verge of shattering. He just needs to survive. The boss presses the attack furiously, overwhelming Su Ming with completely unbalanced agility. Flash. The knight completely closes the gap, driving his massive lance right through Su Ming's chest. Poof. It was just a shadowy decoy, bamboozled. Su Ming grins from a safe distance. Gotta love these shadow skills. Works like a charm on every single meathead. Aura flares as he activates the complete armor synergy. Man, he really loves this overpowered gear. Launching his sword like a homing missile, crash. The impact finally shatters that ridiculously annoying armor into pieces. Su Ming leaps in for the kill, snap. His main weapon fully breaks. But don't panic, our boy brought a backup. Activating the armor's hidden shadow sword swish, he delivers a devastating vertical slash straight through the knight's exposed core. Cut to 3:30 p.m. Principal Wong struts into the administration comms room to face the rival academy heads. Wong blinks in surprise. Wow, you old-timers have been gossiping in here for a while. The snobby principals roll their eyes. We literally just logged in. Clearly Wong is just embarrassingly late. They snicker, mocking him if his trash-tier students were too terrified to challenge the dungeon boss. The highly anticipated dungeon clear notifications are scheduled to flood in right after 3 p.m. But since Wong's academy is famously the bottom feeder, the roasting is absolutely relentless. Why rush? You have 0 achievements, they laugh. Wong smirks. He wasn't late over clear times. He was analyzing a completely anomalous real-time data report. Wong drops the bombshell. Sneaky rats from outside have illegally breached their exclusive novice dungeon. The exact identity of this mysterious rat, still totally unknown. However, he glares at the screens. He is dead certain the culprit belongs to one of these 3 rival academies. Principal Wong squints at Shi. Was it your student? Rumors say the mystery intruder uses flashy blade arts. He asks because Shi's academy proudly boasts a legendary prodigy who absolutely dominates with blade weapons. Keep your garbage theories to yourself, Shi violently barks back. My genius Cheng is literally busy slaughtering our dungeon's final boss right now. He smirks, openly flexing Cheng's insane talent. 30 minutes tops, that pathetic boss is already history. Dongling's principal jumps right into flex. Cute. My academy has 3 absolute elites raiding the boss room at this very moment. Nang Academy fiercely joins the ego trip. Our kids are literally seconds away from clearing it. Wong sweats bullets. The rival academies are treating this massive boss battle like a complete joke. His students desperately need to speedrun this nightmare before time runs out. If they completely choke this year, they get a pathetic 2 slots for the Sky Tower Assembly. A historical disgrace. Wong prays to the heavens. His only hope lies heavily on Zhang, the sole student closest to completely clearing the zone. Inside the dungeon, Zhang is fighting for his life against Simba, a terrifying level 15 beast of destruction. His entire squad is heavily battered and bloody, but they ruthlessly refuse to back down. Heavy casualties shatter the team. Cowards break formation and run, realizing this monstrous boss fight is pure suicide. While the weak flee, Zhang firmly stands his ground alone. He wants that glorious, clear reward all to himself. His pathetic motivation, a tearful text message from Xiaoan, crying that Su Ming had brutally bullied her. The ultimate simp Zhang risks it all for the grand reward, deeply dreaming of brutally crushing Su Ming into the dirt. He forcefully pops his ultimate skill, but the colossal monster literally vanishes into thin air. Zhang freezes in total confusion. Did the legendary boss just rage quit the server? Ding, glowing system screens explode across the zone. A mystery squad just flawlessly slayed the legendary hidden boss. The dungeon cheerfully congratulates the survivors, telling them to pack up for a glorious, triumphant return. Zhao and her friends dramatically gasp. They instantly know Su Ming absolutely demolished that secret boss all by himself. Back outside, a blinding light aggressively interrupts the principal's tense meeting. We finally have a winner. Wong stays painfully silent, totally assuming he lost, while rival principals aggressively argue over the true dungeon victor. Jaws drop to the floor. The golden text shockingly reveals the ultimate champion is Xuanjing Academy. A hidden boss. The arrogant elitist principals fiercely refuse to believe such a mythical creature even exists. Xuanjing students instantly start flexing, loudly bragging about their legendary teamwork killing the mythical beast. Everyone blindly and automatically crowns Zhang's squad as the undisputed legendary dungeon conquerors. Little do these clueless fools know their true savior is Su Ming, sitting pretty at a monstrous level 16. Su Ming's squad practically worships him. He effortlessly hard carried them up 2 whole levels of sheer power. Su Ming gathers the gang. Epic loot time, guys. Let us split this godly gear before the portal finally opens. Yunzi happily scratches his head. Bro, the free experience points are enough. I definitely do not need gear. Yuning nods eagerly in agreement. Same here. This massive level boost is literally priceless. Yunzi spills his true feelings. You heavily saved us from Cheng, cracked the puzzle, and utterly destroyed the boss. I was basically just useless dead weight. Stealing your hard-earned loot feels super wrong right now. Midyap Su Ming carelessly tosses him an epic glowing bow perfectly designed for a level 20 legendary sharpshooter. Yuning catches a beautiful heart-soul necklace. Her mana pool and divine absorption rates just instantly skyrocketed. Jiao absolutely scores the ultimate dark prize, a legendary blood armor undead summoning scroll. With this insanely rare skill, she can literally summon the blood-armored undead knight himself into battle. The coolest part, the Dark Knight scales perfectly with her own chaotic rising power levels. Dropping the mic, Su Ming smoothly explains the system intelligently tailored this loot for their exact job classes. The grand system recognizes you, he smiles warmly. You truly earned this as my official raid party. Without your solid backup clearing, this impossible boss challenge would have been a totally massive headache. Ding. The dungeon announcer booms through the sky, officially ending the grueling 8-hour nightmare for good. Su Ming cracks a deeply satisfied grin. Time is up, squad. Let us smoothly blow this popsicle stand. A massive glowing portal rips open behind them. Settlement phase, Su Ming proudly declares, stepping into the blinding light. Once players step out of the portal, their dungeon contribution points instantly convert into real-world rewards. Approaching the exit, Su Ming flashes a thumbs up, praising his squad for a flawless run. Moments later, surviving students flood out of the gate. Heartbreaking sobs echo as many realize their loved ones aren't coming back. The casualty rate was absolutely brutal, leaving the campus drowning in devastating waves of sorrow. Watching the chaos, Su Ming's eyes narrow. The brutal truth hits him: this entire world revolves solely around awakened power. While some weep over shattered lives, others eagerly celebrate their shiny new loot. The ultimate proof of survival of the fittest. Suddenly, the giant academy monitors flicker to life, projecting the principal's solemn face. He congratulates the battered survivors. This bloody trial was their official initiation into the ruthless world of the awakened. This is their ultimate graduation lesson. He declares that awakening isn't just a golden ticket to unlimited power, wealth, and absolute glory. It also demands a heavy burden of responsibility, protecting peace and safeguarding humanity. He urges the grieving to forge their pain into strength, and the victors to shoulder the immense weight of their new reality. Amidst the grand speech, Jiao glances at Su Ming, nervously asking how he feels about this absolute nightmare. Her voice trembles, haunted by the sheer number of classmates who just had their lives snuffed out. But Su Ming casually drops a massive bombshell. He tells her to chill because the dead are about to respawn. Before he can even finish his sentence, the principal's booming voice echoes across the square. Surprise. To complete the novice tutorial, every single fallen classmate and loved one will be perfectly resurrected in 30 minutes. The entire courtyard erupts in absolute shock. Jiao's jaw hits the floor, completely bewildered by how Su Ming predicted the future. As the chaotic emotional roller coaster finally settles, the dungeon system officially initiates the grand reward distribution phase. Loot drops scale directly with kill counts and overall contribution. Everything seems totally normal until it is finally Su Ming's turn. Ding! A monstrously long list of god-tier achievements floods the giant screen, tallying his absolutely insane kill count. The system casually crowns his run as a flawless, perfect challenge, slapping a blindingly bright S-rank evaluation across the board. Jaws completely shatter. To everyone's absolute horror, Su Ming single-handedly carried 91% of the entire dungeon's massive workload. Fast forward, Su Ming casually strolls into the classified data room, where the anxious principal is eagerly waiting. Opening the door, he is instantly hailed as the ultimate top student, but our main character is completely zoning out. Bro literally overslept and missed his alarm. Anyway, Su Ming dominated first place, while Yanzi and Jiang awkwardly tied for second. Yunqing snatched up third place, leaving Zhao trailing behind in the fourth position. Since graduation is in the bag, Su Ming chuckles internally. The days of playing the useless, low-profile mob character are officially over. Plus, there is absolutely zero reason to hide his godlike stats anymore. Soon, the power gap between him and these extras will be immeasurable. While our boy plots his majestic future, the principal is literally on the floor clinging to Su Ming's thigh like a fanboy. Su Ming awkwardly asks the old man to release his leg, but Principal Wang is too busy ugly crying and chanting endless praises. Through his dramatic tears, Wang admits he has zero clue how Su Ming did it, but thanks him for dragging their trash-tier academy out of the gutters. The old man gloats about how the rival academy principals literally choked on their pride when the final rankings dropped. Their rundown school took first place across 4 entire cities, and Su Ming reigned supreme as the undisputed king of all novice dungeons. Curious, Su Ming casually asks about Chong's placement. Wang reveals that arrogant punk only managed to scrape by in 3rd place globally. Rumor has it Chong totally choked and underperformed because he was licking his wounds from a nasty injury. Suddenly serious Wang interrogates Su Ming. How on earth did a measly sword controller slay a legendary hidden boss? Even a 10-star talent shouldn't pull that off. Everyone knows that class is absolute garbage during the early leveling stages. Wang points out the massive plot holes. Su Ming has no rich family backing and 0 god-tier cash shop items, yet he soloed an over-leveled nightmare beast. In all his decades of running this academy, the old man swears he has never witnessed a freak of nature quite like Su Ming. Wang also knows his own cheap care packages didn't trigger this miracle. Those basic trash-tier items barely boost combat stats at all. Before the old man can keep aggressively yapping, Su Ming quickly interrupts, blaming his unbelievable victory on pure luck. Principal Wang's brain practically short-circuits. He stares at him in utter disbelief. Trying to sell the lie, Su Ming claims he stumbled upon crazy, overpowered skills and loot. Wang gasps, questioning if the tutorial dungeon even spawns such legendary drops. Without missing a beat, Su Ming nods with a completely straight face. Absolutely. He adds that having amazing teammates totally helped. Our guy is aggressively dodging the truth because he definitely cannot confess that he is a reincarnated regressor. Su Ming modestly credits his epic boss victory entirely to his teammates' flawless backup. Hearing this ridiculous humility, Principal Wang realizes the kid is an absolute prodigy. A truly terrifying leader in disguise. Wang chuckles, revealing that Jiao relentlessly sang Su Ming's praises during the reward ceremony. Su Ming awkwardly admits Jiao actually texted him that morning to arrive together. He aggressively declined, absolutely dreading the cringe-worthy embarrassment of her non-stop public flattery. Before Su Ming escapes, the principal dramatically blocks his path, offering the legendary token. Thanks to Su Ming's monstrous performance, the snooty vice mayor was forced to redirect precious tokens. Miraculously, they snatched 5 total quotas this year, crowning Su Ming, Jiao, Yan Yuning, and Zhang. Wang dramatically clears his throat, preparing a long-winded lecture about the tower's majestic importance. Su Ming immediately shuts him down. He already knows the lore perfectly. This sacred sky tower is the ultimate holy grail for every freshly awakened rookie. Clearing the tutorial dungeon basically graduates them into the ruthless, awakened society. Normal peasants must grind pathetic, low-level dungeons, painfully leveling up at a snail's pace. It is safe, sure, but the progression speed is agonizingly garbage. However, scoring this shiny token unlocks an outrageously overpowered VIP fast track to pure strength. The tower's brutal trials rain down massive lightning-fast progression rewards. In his tragically weak past life, Su Ming completely missed out on this golden ticket. That massive blunder ruined his early game scaling, leaving him fighting for pathetic leftover scraps. This time he is hoarding all the glory. Wang warmly congratulates the grinning powerhouse. His days as a pathetic student are officially over, but Wang solemnly warns that reality has no friendly tutorial resets. Future bloodbaths will only offer one single try where failure means an instant game over. Extending a weathered hand, Wang prays this monster rookie will carry the world's future. Su Ming flashes, a confident smirk, shaking his hand with absolute conviction. Meanwhile, inside a ridiculously lavish mansion, Yuning's wealthy family throws a massive victory party. Her over-the-top father squeezes her tight, weeping tears of joy over her grabbing 3rd place. He wrongly praises the expensive mercenaries Lan hired, but Lan bitterly shatters his fantasy. Lan sighs, confessing those useless hired guns flopped. Yuning nods, revealing her, quote, near-death experience. Su Ming heroically crashed the party, saving her life and casually tossing her god-tier loot. Yuning excitedly declares the guy is a straight-up walking cheat code. Lan awkwardly admits she tried buying his services earlier but epically fumbled the negotiation. Still, destiny dragged them together anyway, and Lan insists they must shower him with glorious rewards. Shocked by his daughters actually agreeing, their father excitedly demands they prepare a spectacular gift. He orders Lan to hunt down this mysterious savior's contact info. He boasts about hiring a world-class chef to cook up a legendary feast tonight. Suddenly, his phone buzzes aggressively. He almost ignores it until the terrifying caller ID flashes. Sneaking off to a silent room, his face drops. Assassins have been butchering their men for 2 days. He furiously demands a name, and the trembling official drops the bombshell. The Zhang family. Fast forward 2 days. Jiao excitedly pings, Su Ming, screaming that their epic tower raid begins now. He casually tells her to rush ahead, promising to make his grand entrance shortly. Ready to roll, Su Ming whips out his magical golden ticket. Wang's instructions echo in his mind. Just channel energy into the token to spawn a warp gate. This shiny VIP portal literally rejects anyone without official Sky Tower clearance. Su Ming flexes his power, the system chimes its approval, and the gateway opens wide. A confident smirk crosses his face as he steps through the glowing portal. When the light fades, the legendary 100-layer tower looms before him. In his past life, stumbling upon this monumental place was pure dumb luck. Sweeping his gaze across the area, he notices the lobby swarming with freshly teleported challengers. Su Ming is practically buzzing with excitement to conquer this trial once more. Striding up to the massive gates, he flashes his identification token, unlocking his destiny. The second his boots hit the Grand Hall, a glowing blue system window pops up. The prompt orders everyone to stand by in the first-floor lobby for the official opening ceremony. Su Ming's jaw drops. The lobby is ridiculously more massive than his past life's memories. While he is busy marveling, his old squad suddenly rolls up. He cheekily praises Zhao for being early, but she immediately bites his head off. She screams that he is the late one since they have been waiting forever. Seriously, they had been standing around like lost puppies waiting for their fearless leader. After surviving absolute hell together, this chaotic trio has actually formed a solid bond. Zhao crosses her arms, insisting they stick together like glue. After all, this mysterious tower is totally unpredictable. Out of nowhere, Zhang lunges from the shadows with a vicious sucker punch, but Su Ming effortlessly sidesteps the sneak attack. Zhang's fist obliterates the floorboards. The loud crash instantly spins every head in the room, shocked that someone is picking a fight in this sacred hall. Zhao fiercely demands what is wrong with his brain. Zhang just glares at Su Ming, barking that he is here to get bloody revenge for his girlfriend. To prove he is not bluffing, Zhang summons his glowing weapon with terrifying killing intent. He viciously threatens to bury Su Ming alive. Unfazed, Su Ming just sighs, telling this clown that today is really not the time for petty grudges. Right on cue, the hall's absolute defense system detects the rising hostility. Combat is strictly forbidden here. The anti-violence mechanism instantly awakens, blasting Zhang with a hilariously brutal shock of electricity. Zhang face plants into the dirt in spectacular fashion. Before completely blacking out, he weakly groans that Su Ming is still dead meat. Su Ming casually notes the situation. There might not be a fancy welcome committee, but the invisible eyes of the admins are definitely watching. Creepily enough, Cheng is lurking in the shadows, spying on their squad. Ignoring him, Su Ming motions for his crew to grab some seats. Zhao tilts her head in utter confusion, asking why they are sitting down before the big event even begins. Normal players are supposed to read the boring beginner guide, but Su Ming drops a massive cheat code, revealing that the real hidden trigger is actually the chairs themselves. Zhao's eyes widen in disbelief at his insane knowledge. She suspiciously demands to know if he has secretly been to this legendary hall before. Playing coy, Su Ming completely ignores her prying. He just smirks and tells her to sit tight because the Sky Tower's hidden selection system is about to pop up. Boom. Like clockwork, a flashy holographic interface materializes, welcoming him to the brutal Sky Tower Initiation Challenge. The instant Jiao unlocks her own hidden screen, the remaining duo aggressively dives into their chairs. Su Ming drops the heavy truth. Conquering this insane 100-layer gauntlet will absolutely dictate their social hierarchy and ranking in the upcoming assembly. Zhao's brain basically short-circuits at the complicated rules. Su Ming sighs, dumbing it down as a super intense speed-climbing race to the top. It is simple math. The higher you push toward the heavens, the more god-tier your final evaluation becomes. But here is the vicious catch. If multiple players tie on the same floor, the system ruthlessly ranks them by their clear speed. Zhao gasps in pure shock. She had no idea they were literally racing against the clock for their lives. A massive light bulb flashes over her head. They need to rush the tower right now while the brainless mob is still reading the instructions. Su Ming flashes a proud knowing grin. This entire opening ceremony is just a giant trap, a psychological test designed to weed out the weak and unobservant. He warns them that any fool waiting for the speeches to end has already lost the starting line advantage. The celestial judges crave absolute predators, warriors who can read the room, hack the rules, and steal the spotlight without hesitation. Offering his hand, Su Ming asks if his chaotic trio wants to party up, ready to recreate their legendary carry from the tutorial dungeon. Yunqing nods furiously with sparkling eyes, admitting that hiding behind Su Ming's overpowered aura feels incredibly safe. But John drops a massive bombshell. He firmly declares he will not be joining the main character's party. The girls stare at him like he is crazy. John clenches his fists, confessing that their previous success was entirely because they were hard-carried by Su Ming's insane skills. They had basically been dead weight. This time around, John refuses to be a pathetic burden dragging their godly leader down. He needs to forge his own path of blood and sweat. Moved by his fiery resolve, Zhao completely agrees, craving a genuine life-or-death trial. She proudly suggests the three of them form a secondary squad. That way they can grind their own levels without relying on cheat codes. John eagerly fist bumps her, leaving a pouting Yunqing with no choice. With paths chosen, Su Ming confidently struts into the abyss as a solo player, leaving the trio behind. Meanwhile, Chung locks his deadly gaze on them, itching to start the trial because his petty rivalry with Su Ming is far from over. Su Ming steps up first, wishing his guildmates solid luck on their incoming survival trials. Stepping onto floor 1, the system officially registers Su Ming as Challenger 001. Entering the 100-layer tower first, our regressor confidently prepares for the exact brutal beast from his past life. But wait, a literal clucking chicken suddenly spawns, leaving him completely dumbfounded. Su Ming's sweat drops at the whack timeline. He easily snatches the squawking bird, wondering what on earth he should do with dinner. Back in his past life, his very first tower opponent was a vicious level 5 demonic beast. A terrifying purple-furred fiend tiger. With this timeline acting completely wacky, he honestly thinks the system is trolling him. Are the tower gods mocking him for being a level 1 newbie by tossing him a farm animal? Suddenly, the system interface flashes. The chicken's level section displays pure glowing question marks. Highly suspicious. Before he can snap its neck, the bird aggressively breaks free. Hitting the dirt, the creature's aura shifts into an overwhelmingly terrifying presence. Its beady eyes glow crimson, instantly shifting from harmless poultry to a cold-blooded, feathered assassin. The demon bird rushes him at lightning speed. Su Ming panics, realizing this ridiculous trial is no simple joke. Back outside the lobby, the boring opening ceremony finally reaches its much-awaited conclusion. The admins explain the rules. But wait, a glowing leaderboard has already materialized. Rank 1 already belongs to Challenger 002. The crowd absolutely loses their minds over the impossible speed. While they were stuck listening to speeches, Chung had already utterly smashed through the second floor's boss room. Meanwhile, our overpowered protagonist is literally battling demonic poultry. Expecting an easy one-hit kill, Su Ming desperately dodges the ridiculously overpowered super chicken. Its explosive agility is genuinely insane. Despite buffing his own speed, the feathered menace effortlessly evades every strike. He scrambles to survive while the furious bird essentially fires deadly laser beams everywhere. Su Ming grinds his teeth. His current low-level stats are absolutely useless against this violently annoying poultry. Our hero desperately needs a massive brain play right now. If this stupid boss fight drags on, his glorious early bird advantage completely disappears into nothing. He will instantly lose the massive head start he gained by entering first if he cannot secure a chicken dinner fast. Su Ming finally unleashes the broken, hidden skill he looted from that secret novice dungeon boss. Time to cook. He recklessly charges the bird, swinging wildly. The beast mockingly leaps skyward, casually dodging the heavy blade. As the arrogant bird lands, a devious smirk crosses Su Ming's face. He expertly lured the beast right into his ultimate trap, Sword Tomb. He secretly cast it beforehand. A gigantic ethereal blade violently erupts from the earth below, perfectly skewering the designated target. The legendary Sword Tomb technique lands a direct hit. Su Ming watches closely, praying his ultimate trap actually worked. But as the smoke clears, the unbothered chicken stands completely unharmed. Su Ming internally screams at the heavens. Will his eternal suffering at the hands of poultry never end? He furiously realizes that a god-tier immortal chicken physically cannot exist on floor 1. It defies logic. An epic brainwave hits him. As the demon bird charges again, our hero smirks, preparing a completely ridiculous counterattack. He flawlessly executes the legendary chicken immobilization technique, absolutely paralyzing the creature stiff in sheer terror. Su Ming laughs in triumph. His galaxy brain hypothesis was totally correct. He mercilessly executes the temporarily paralyzed farm animal. The goofy technique literally triggers the bird's natural stress-induced fainting survival response. With dinner finally served, the system cheerfully congratulates him for clearing floor 1. He chuckles, realizing floor 1 purely tested intelligence over brute force. This year's tower mechanics are hilariously twisted. Teleporting to floor 2, he checks the glowing board. Chung is currently holding rank 1. The rest of the furious mob is flooding the lobby. His precious early bird advantage has fully evaporated. But this rivalry purely fuels his fighting spirit. Time to shift into overdrive. He craves absolute victory, and no stupid monster will halt his legendary ascent. Outside, the seething mob finally understands the trial mechanics, aggressively cursing the admins for that massive time-wasting speech. Scrambling wildly for entry portals, their jaws completely drop. Chung has already conquered 6 floors, absolutely dominating the glorious leaderboard. Shockingly, Jia's fierce squad completely smashed through 4 floors, proudly grabbing 3rd place. Tied up top is Challenger 001, his screen name, the God of Slaughter. Everyone is totally baffled. Turns out, smashing that first floor gave Su Ming a super sweet perk, a shiny custom title. Su Ming was absolutely dumbfounded. In his past life, beating that giant kitty only gave him a trashy wooden box. Inside that garbage box, just a totally useless healing juice. The butterfly effect is real. Su Ming realizes this crazy timeline shift must be his overpowered rebirth buff. Never one to waste free loot, he proudly types in his badass past life job. Boom, the god of slaughter. Hilariously, the system literally deletes his name, officially crowning him the god of slaughter. Su Ming smirks like an absolute villain. This is way too perfect. He immediately unleashes a brutal monster chopping spree. In literally 60 seconds, the crowd watches him delete a whole floor. Blink twice, and he is already conquering floor 4. The spectating crowd completely loses their minds over his insane speed. Sure, Su Ming is ridiculously overpowered, but catching Chung seems impossible. That dude is speedrunning like an absolute maniac. While Su Ming chills on floor 4, Chung is already sweating it out on floor 8. Seeing Chung reach floor 8, Su Ming finally decides to try hard. Playing around on floor 1 cost him too much time. Stepping onto floor 5, he completely obliterates the boss in one single hit. Seconds later, Jia's elite squad completely dominates floor 6. She cheers happily for another flawless victory, all thanks to their flawlessly synchronized girl power. Summons tank, Yan's blasts maximum damage, and Yuning plays star healer. Their team synergy is absolute perfection. But wait, Yuning frantically points out Su Ming's absolutely ridiculous climbing pace. She screams in pure disbelief. This absolute madman just rocketed past their rank in mere minutes. That crazy overpowered guy is already crushing floor 7, leaving them in the dust. Up ahead, Chung elegantly wipes out floor 9. The mobs are getting beefy, but they are still completely useless against him. He smirks, recalling the golden rule. First, to crush floor 10 scores, a super rare bonus prize. Chung totally knows the edgy god of slaughter is Su Ming. Though baffled by his slow start, Chung confidently laughs off any comeback. Chung inhales deeply, his ego overflowing. That sweet floor 10 loot is practically already sitting in his pocket. Ding. His glorious daydream shatters instantly. The system announces Su Ming just flattened floor 9. Boom. These crazy rivals crash floor 10 together, stepping up to face a massive level 15 Minotaur. Outside the tower, every single scrub straight up rage quits to spectate the insane leaderboard. Why even bother sweating? These absolute monsters are way out of their league. Chasing them is a total joke. Grabbing virtual popcorn is simply the smarter play. Witnessing this epic clash is absolute cinematic gold. With both titans locked on floor 10, the chat goes wild. Heavy bets start raining down on who claims first blood. Facing this massive beefcake, Su Ming literally fights with one hand casually stuffed in his pocket. He flawlessly dices up the giant cow, roasting the poor beast with epic trash talk. Half a minute, that is all it took. He straight up executes the beast using his devastating sword tomb art. The Minotaur collapses. Golden fireworks erupt as the system crowns Su Ming the absolute king of floor 10. A shiny notification pops up. A gloriously juicy bonus reward is officially his. Meanwhile, pathetic Jiang wakes up dizzy. Opening his eyes, 2 massive nurse melons are practically smacking his face. His teenage hormones almost explode, but he hilariously slaps himself back to reality blindly, staying totally loyal to Xiaowen. Boom, revenge mode reactivated. Jiang desperately sprints to the main hall only to find the place completely deserted. Total shock hits his face. Every student already left to conquer the 100-layer tower. He hilariously pulls his hair out. Ditching him behind makes his pathetic revenge plan look absolutely totally impossible. Reality check. There is literally zero chance this clown can ever catch up to the overpowered Su Ming. Crying over his own stupidity, Jiang completely deludes himself. He wildly accuses Su Ming of setting a trap to get him disqualified. His petty villain brain starts cooking up a new scheme. Ding, rich kid privilege activated. Why dirty his hands when his filthy rich family can just completely crush Su Ming instead? Jiang finally caves. He calls in his family's ultimate backup to crush Su Ming. He whips out his phone for a quick hit. But checking the activation rankings, Su Ming's name is completely missing. Instead, Chang is sitting pretty in second place. Reaching the 16th floor on his first run, the guy is an absolute beast. Jiang is totally baffled. Who on earth is the god of slaughter claiming rank 1? Spoiler alert, it is actually our boy Su Ming. He has already blazed through the 19th floor. Meanwhile, that 18th floor boss was a total headache. Su Ming clashed against a level 20 nightmare, the Amethyst Crypt Beast. The higher he climbs, the more ridiculous these monsters get. Their boss mechanics are just insanely complex. This sneaky coward buried its actual body completely underground, and that massive crystal on its head, practically indestructible. While he smacks the crystal, the underground body endlessly spawns annoying little mobs to swarm him. These annoying runts share the same ridiculous crystal defense. His old silver weapon would not even leave a scratch on them. Thank the heavens for that gold tier weapon chest he scored from dominating the 10th floor. The perks of getting the server's first clear. He uses sublimation to evolve the gold gear into a platinum masterpiece. Enter his new toy, the Blackstone Rift Combined Sword. Locked behind level 18, this legendary blade once shattered in an ancient epic battle, but a master blacksmith forged it back together using a priceless dragon scale, restoring its peak glory. This blade reeks of overwhelming killing intent. Joined together, it is a devastating long sword. Split apart, a lethal pair of swift daggers. A flawless dual-type weapon, plus that dragon scale core grants a massive 200% fire damage bonus. The long sword mode heavily boosts his execution attacks but completely guts his attack speed. Not exactly the best choice for clearing out a giant mob. So, Su Ming splits the mighty blade right down the middle. Speed boosted by 50%, slashing power drops by 30%. Less power, no problem. His overpowered sword body talent makes up the difference. Now he has lethal speed and devastating attacks. Meanwhile, down on the 17th floor, Chang is completely stuck against a level 18 boss. It is a massive treant, and Chang knows he has finally hit his absolute limit. The treant is weak to fire, but flying solo, Chang lacks the right skills. Plus, he is fuming over his trash drop luck. His 10th floor clear only gave him a measly silver chest. Why? Because Su Ming had already snatched the only gold reward. Adding insult to injury, his chest dropped a magic accessory completely useless to his build. Staring down the giant treant, Chang realizes pushing further means a one-way ticket to the grave. Swallowing his pride, Chang immediately bails from the 17th floor. Across the tower, other players are also hitting their limits. Even elite challengers tap out at the 11th floor to avoid certain death. Back on the 19th floor, Crack Su Ming finally shatters the boss's crystal. The cowardly boss is finally exposed. He instantly activates Sword Tomb, forcing the monster's true body out of the dirt. With the monster defenseless, Su Ming cleanly executes it and conquers the 19th floor. Checking the logs, Su Ming notices Chang actually gave up 2 floors below. The tower's difficulty clearly skyrockets past floor 10. Honestly, getting that far on a first trial is pretty impressive. Based on his past life memories, the 20th floor should be his ultimate bottleneck. Past floor 20, the difficulty curve literally breaks the charts. With his current stats, the 19th floor should have been his absolute limit. Still, he steps into floor 20 anyway. He has a nostalgic little skill itching to be tested. The pressure here is suffocating. Su Ming is forced to exert double the strength he has used so far. Yet insanely, he could not even make the floormaster flinch. Su Ming spammed his sword control, but the floormaster casually deflected every strike without moving a muscle. Lacking raw power, our guy tried blitzing him with absolute speed. Spoiler alert, it was completely useless. This dude was parrying like he had 10 hands. Turns out this knight was a massive level 25 boss. The knight suddenly unleashed a devastating skill, giving Su Ming a brutal reality check about his overwhelming power. Su Ming desperately raised his guard, only to be swatted away like a completely pesky fly. His health bar melted instantly. He quickly realized his current stats were absolute garbage against this monster. Just a casual hit from this tin can wiped out 1/3 of his total health. Looking at his blinking red HP bar, he knew one more tap would end his entire run. Even with his glorious regression, cheat punching above his weight class was impossible here. Honestly, he expected this. Yet he still crash-landed on the 20th floor, fully knowing he was going to get instantly clapped. Why? Simply to test drive a brand new flashy skill unlocked precisely at level 20. It was his absolute favorite cheat move from his past life. The legendary God of Slaughter Strike. Su Ming triggered the skill, manifesting a colossal energy blade towering ominously over the boss. Meanwhile, Chung entered the hall, finding the crowd losing their minds over Su Ming's insane suicidal tower climb. Clueless about this God of Slaughter's identity, the mob gossiped about how this newbie reached floor 20 today. Chung gritted his teeth, fuming with sheer jealousy over Su Ming's blatantly overpowered, ridiculous strength. While he was glaring at the screen, a random classmate casually strolled up just to mock him. The guy totally roasted Chung, laughing about his unprecedented, absolutely humiliating defeat. Back inside, Su Ming's epic strike actually connected. It shredded 1/3 of the boss's health, but his life blinked. Since his ultimate attack didn't instantly one-shot the boss, our pragmatic hero decided to aggressively run away. He frantically smashed the status window, hitting withdraw to tactically accept his swift defeat. Then a plot twist dropped. The boss actually spoke, claiming Su Ming didn't lose but merely lacked base stats. The knight explained his puny level was bottlenecking the skill's true magnificent god-tier damage output. Su Ming's jaw hit the floor. Since when do terrifying tower monsters give friendly motivational speeches? Fading into the teleport light, the surprisingly polite knight promised to eagerly await their inevitable rematch. A bright flash later, Su Ming safely respawned outside. Stepping out of the portal system, notifications blasted that the legendary God of Slaughter had officially failed. Even though he bailed out early, the entire crowd was mind-blown by his absurdly high, record-breaking climb. The crazy fanboys started hunting for the God of Slaughter, realizing he must be among the teleported players. Hordes of players interrogated every newcomer, completely oblivious that the overpowered legend was Su Ming, standing right there. Su Ming internally cheered for his title-changing reward from floor 1. It perfectly cloaked him from this thirsty mob. Although he possessed absolute concealment, the game system rudely blocked it inside the tower. That sneaky cheat trick was strictly reserved for dungeon use. Suddenly, he noticed Zhao's party grinding away on the 14th floor. He nodded, genuinely impressed by their sweaty glow-up. Playing it safe and steady, he knew those tryhards would definitely shatter their own records. Su Ming eagerly marched onward to his next leveling phase. Hitting level 20 meant his crucial second profession change quest had finally dropped. Being gloriously lazy, he locked onto a subjugation quest next to his main mission. 2 birds, 1 stone. Checking the board, he raised an eyebrow. All current subjugation quests were garbage tier from rank D to F. Scanning the map, he realized he could only snag 1, confidently slapping his hand on quest D17. The mission: assassinate a massive python king in the Nonley wilderness with a juicy 10,000 coin bounty. Plus, the cherry on top was an ultra-rare shiny random platinum skill scroll. Suddenly, the system dinged. His Sky Tower assembly token now granted VIP access to the 100-layer zone. With this broken VIP pass, he finally unlocked the fabled illusionary realm. This mystical hub, perfectly connected to the Sky Tower assembly, boasting a bizarre landscape entirely unlike the real world. Let us rewind. Before the apocalyptic day of awakening ruined everything, Earth was just your average boring human playground. Then boom, the awakening hit, and ridiculous system glitches like dungeons and ugly monsters crashed our reality. These nightmarish anomalies started popping up like crazy. Humanity had no choice but to adapt, forcibly merging into this wacky game-like reality. Thanks to a bunch of heroic tryhards who carried the server, some semblance of order was finally restored to our totally wrecked society. Thus, the legendary illusionary realm was officially spawned. Think of it as a massive quarantine zone, kept totally separate from human cities. It serves as a giant playground for crazy demons. By dumping the trash there, humanity finally got their precious, boring peace back. The infamous 100-layer tower, that brutal meat grinder, is basically the VIP ticket for noobs entering the illusionary realm. Wild rumors claim that the absolute highest floor hides the ultimate server secrets behind the world's sudden awakening. Our boy Su Ming failed to reach the top previously, but this time he is speedrunning straight to the apex. Right on cue, the system chimes in. A shiny portal pops up asking if he wants to warp straight into the illusionary realm's danger zones. Hard pass. Su Ming rejects the hardcore grind, opting for a vacation to the real world. The system obediently reroutes his portal like a good GPS. Ding. As a juicy bonus for clearing floor 20, a fat stack of 10,000 advent coins drops into his inventory. A greedy smirk creeps across Su Ming's face. This sweet payday arrived perfectly on schedule for his extremely expensive delivery. Yup, his first high-tier weapon. The second his feet hit the real world, he immediately sprints toward the bustling weapon trading center. Stepping into the noisy marketplace gives him serious déjà vu. His gacha luck blessed him here with his first silver weapon. Sure, that old sword had sick overpowered effects, but its base stats are literal garbage for his upcoming crazy difficult tower raids. To fix this major issue, he booked a highly secretive meeting 2 days ago with the weirdest resident of the trading center. When his clueless buddies tried dragging him shopping earlier, our lone wolf immediately hit them with a brutal rejection. Tossing out a terrible excuse about separate errands, Su Ming creeps down into a sketchy basement to meet a specific female blacksmith. The gloomy forge owner glares, complaining that he runs on snail time. Honestly, she only cares if he brought the cold cash without hesitating. Su Ming happily swipes his system interface and pays. In exchange, she hands over a flashy weapon replica level upgrade device. His overpowered talent can only buff an item once, and the upgrade, RNG, is completely cursed. To cheat the system and keep his old silver sword's sick abilities, he needs this illegal-feeling gadget. This beautiful little device violently forces an item's level to skyrocket, while flawlessly copy-pasting the original skills. Best part, the skill modifiers randomly receive a spicy power boost during forging. Flash, the upgrade goes through perfectly. Su Ming practically cries tears of joy as his favorite trusty blade gets an absolute monstrous power-up. Fun fact, the only maniac alive capable of building this gadget is Nahura, her ultra-rare hidden class 8-star forger. Nahura stares like he grew 2 heads. How did a random kid locate her ultra-secret goblin cave where she silently smashes metal all day? She demands to know who leaked her private contact info. More importantly, why did he blindly gamble his cash on her actually succeeding with such an insanely complex device? She yells that material costs exceed 10,000 advent coins. What kind of fresh broke awakened student just casually throws that kind of cash around? She is completely flabbergasted that he basically threw a fortune at a sketchy stranger. Su Ming flashes a cheeky villainous grin. Who said we were strangers, he playfully teases. She deadpans that her brain works fine, so she is pretty sure. Realizing she has zero chill, Su Ming immediately claims it was a prank. Plot twist, he knows her intimately from his past life. Back then, Nahura evolved into an absolute monster, even starting as an 8-star. Her psychotic obsession with the anvil eventually propelled her to literal god-tier crafting status. Su Ming practically lived at her forge. She was the genius brain behind all of his uniquely overpowered weapons. But man, she charged wallet-destroying prices back then. Now, seeing her currently broke eating instant noodles in a basement, our capitalist main character realizes it is prime investing time. To a broke girl, even pennies look like an absolute mountain of gold. Time to play the sugar daddy card. Su Ming casually drops the bomb that he knows exactly how desperately broke she is for her next blueprint. Nahura's jaw practically shatters on the floor. Before she can hyperventilate, Su Ming drops an absolute nuke. He is tossing in 10,000 Advent coins as his first angel investment. He seals the deal loudly, declaring that as he speedruns quests and farms cash, his massive sponsorship budget for her will only skyrocket. Nahura's brain short-circuits. Staring wide-eyed at this crazy student, she desperately asks if he is just messing with her. Su Ming swears he is telling the truth. Nahura literally thinks he is a heavenly angel descended from above. But hold up, our guy has one sneaky condition. Whenever he needs some shiny new gear crafted in the future, she absolutely must slap a massive 70% discount on the final bill. Blinded by pure joy, Nahura instantly shakes on the ridiculous deal. Later, Su Ming hops into the illusionary zone to grind his quest. His jaw drops instantly. The trees here are ridiculously absurdly massive. Suddenly, the metallic stench of blood hits his nose. He whips out his map to pinpoint the exact subjugation zone. The target is dead south. Sadly, these ridiculously gigantic trees are completely blocking his line of sight. Climbing them like he did back in the newbie dungeon? Yeah, absolutely not happening here. But our boy has a crazy idea. He might not be a legit swordmaster, but he still has that overpowered sword control skill in his arsenal. Life would be so much easier if he could just surf on his blade like those fancy cultivators from the martial arts novels. Su Ming dramatically draws his weapon. Time for a test run. He steps on the blade, yells activate, and instantly faceplants right into the dirt. Ouch. Honestly, he kind of expected that pathetic fail. Wait, the second he grips its hilt, the weapon skyrockets wildly, dragging him through the air like a rag doll. A hilarious realization hits him. Surfing on the weapon gracefully is totally out of the question. But hey, if he just clings to it for dear life and spams his target lock, he can essentially fly like a budget superhero. Su Ming hilariously blasts through the thick jungle canopy, totally mesmerized by the breathtaking aerial scenery. Meanwhile, a sketchy trio of awakened players sneaks into the D17 subjugation zone. Shockingly, they are literally hunting our crazy solo player Su Ming. One goon praises his fearless solo run, but her edgy teammate laughs, calling Su Ming a clueless newbie walking straight into his own grave. The cocky guy smirks, suggesting they just grab some popcorn and let the dungeon monsters brutally do their dirty work. But their level 27 boss shuts that down. They need to strike fast and claim the juicy bounty before someone else steals it. Flashback: Jang rage quit the tower challenge right at the 13th floor. He is seething with furious anger over his pathetic early flop. His terrible performance ruined his chances of joining a party, leaving him with an incredibly embarrassing first run. Stomping into the safe zone, he noticed the lobby was already completely deserted, meaning he is trailing behind everyone. He nervously scans the glowing leaderboard, absolutely baffled that Su Ming is nowhere to be found. Did that annoying guy actually completely forfeit the trial? Is that why his ranking vanished? Jang practically pulls his hair out. Even with hitmen ready, he has zero clue where his main target is hiding. While furiously plotting his next move, he suddenly hears Jiao and her squad casually strolling back from the tower. The cowardly Jang dives into the shadows to eavesdrop. Shockingly, their flawless teamwork actually pushed them all the way to floor 15. Yuning smugly flexes about hitting such an epic high score without needing to rely on Su Ming at all. The squad instantly decides to dive into their next mission since they have already burned too much daylight. Jiao drops the bomb she messaged Su Ming, and the madman had already zoomed off to tackle a crazy subjugation raid. Yuning gasps in pure shock. Is that lunatic seriously trying to solo an entire monster base? While they happily chatter about their plans, the sneaky villain Jang silently absorbs every single juicy detail. Bingo. Armed with this massive leak, Jang frantically radios his hired killers to hunt down and completely obliterate Su Ming. Fast forward, our flying protagonist finally crash lands in the southern target zone. The whole area is an absolute wrecked, crumbling wasteland. Gruesome, mangled villagers litter the ground. He quickly pieces together that this was once a peaceful beastman settlement. Seeing the nasty melted acid burns, he realizes deadly snake venom caused this slaughter. His monstrous prey is definitely lurking close by, but then a super weird smell hits him. Following his nose like a true detective, he finds a completely disgusting, monumental pile of giant snake poop. That nasty evidence proves the monster is tangent-sized. Suddenly his danger senses tingle. Something is creeping behind that massive trunk. With lightning speed, Su Ming launches his blade, fiercely commanding the hidden stalker to reveal itself. Su Ming physically, completely freezes. A trembling, terrified catgirl jumps out, frantically screaming at him to stay away. She wildly hisses, threatening to shred him with her claws, but honestly, she looks like a shivering kitten with zero killer instinct. Sighing, Su Ming turns his back, casually calling her a little pet. Instant mistake, she furiously shrieks that she is absolutely not a pet. Puffed up, she screams. She is a fierce level 3 catfolk. Did he also come to destroy her home? Su Ming's eye of insight pings with system text, target identified. Her name is Leah, and her hidden class, Assassin. He casually tosses her a glowing glass bottle. She catches it, looking totally confused. Chug it, he deadpans. It's a health potion. You look like you're one hit point away from a game over. He waves his hand dismissively. Relax, newbie. I'm not here to grief your spawn point or terrorize the locals. Besides, he adds with brutal honesty, your village is already wiped off the map. What's left for me to smash? My real target, that oversized noodle that turned your hometown into an all-you-can-eat buffet. Lia's eyes go wide with panic. Are you crazy? That monster is a walking disaster. Going solo is literally a suicide mission. Su Ming just smirks. Slaying impossible beasts is kind of my brand. Taking a deep breath, Leah makes a bold offer. She knows the monster's exact spawn location, but only if she joins his party. Tears well up in her eyes. That cursed reptile. It devoured my entire family, she cries out. Fast forward to them wandering the creepy forest. Su Ming is sweating drop marks. Is this non-player character seriously leading me in circles? He mutters internally. But Leah suddenly stops dead in her tracks. We are here. The target is straight ahead. Su Ming blinks at empty bushes. I don't see any. Look up, she whispers, trembling. He tilts his head back and his jaw instantly drops. The colossal nightmare is wrapped tightly around the highest branches. Su Ming stumbles back. Holy mother of boss monsters, that thing is a literal freight train. His brain blue screens. This monstrosity completely shatters his expectations. The system lied. Never blindly trust the difficulty scale of a rank D quest ever again. Nope. Abort mission. Tactical retreat, he decides instantly. But before he can nope out, a deadly ambush strikes from the shadows. Incoming Leah screams. Her assassin instincts save his life. They dive away just as lethal arrows pierce the ground. Failing their sneak attack, a shady squad steps into the clearing. The arrogant squad captain claps sarcastically. Not bad reflexes for a target. Dodging our strike as a mere level 20 scrub, impressive. He draws his weapon with a sinister sneer. But your beginner's luck just officially ran out. Make peace with your gods, kid. You're getting deleted today, he laughs maniacally. Going totally tryhard, the toxic trio spams their ultimate abilities, hoping for an instant one-hit kill. Su Ming cleanly sidesteps the incoming arrows, but the enemy mage smirks. Try dodging homing spells, you little pest, she screeches. Blazing fire blasts his way. He desperately backflips, but the area damage still grazes his shoulder. While he is staggered, the squad leader teleports right into his face. The massive blow crushes our hero into a tree trunk. A massive dust cloud erupts. The swaggering leader struts forward, laughing at how squishy his target is. Can't believe the client paid premium rates for this, sending a whole elite squad for such a pathetic noob. The three bullies surround the wreckage. They relentlessly trash-talk him, claiming he's just free experience and easy cash. With his health points flashing red, Su Ming coughs up blood. Since I'm hitting the game over screen anyway. Who sponsored this player-killing party? He croaks. Loving the villain monologue, the leader raises his massive great sword. Why not? You're dead meat. Mr. Jang ordered your deletion, he boasts proudly. With a brutal swing, he cleanly slices our hero. Leah screams in absolute despair. But wait, a familiar cheeky voice echoes from the canopy above Bingo. I totally knew that trash-tier villain was behind this. The squad whips around Su Ming as chilling on a high branch, completely unharmed and smiling smugly. Up there, his eye of insight is working overtime. System windows pop up, scanning their stats and combat specifications perfectly. The leader's jaw hits the dirt. A twin brother, Su Ming, just bursts out laughing. You seriously never heard of a shadow clone skill, you boomer? The realization hits the toxic trio like a truck. They got completely trolled. Scanning their floating system stats. The archer is level 23. The raging magic caster level 25. In this ruthless, awakened era, player killing is normal. However, the world's strict system laws prevent high rankers from spawn camping rookies just for fun. The golden rule of combat: you cannot attack anyone 10 levels below you. Break that system mechanic and you become globally wanted instantly. Knowing this hard level cap, Su Ming calculates fast. The smug swordsman leader is only level 27. He's the highest ranked tryhard here. Time for a classic speedrun strategy. Target the weakest link first. Su Ming dive bombs straight past the vanguard, targeting the fragile archer. Cold steel presses firmly against the sniper's throat. I wouldn't twitch if I were you. Pro tip. Su Ming whispers darkly. Critical hits bypass the health bar entirely. One squeak, and it's an instant logout. The furious mage shrieks, "You dirty, cowardly rat!" Su Ming rolls his eyes. You guys literally ganked me from the bushes first. Talk about hypocritical boss behavior, he scoffs. The swordsman wipes his sweat, attempting a psychological bluff. You're just a freshly awakened kid. You've never actually caught a body before. First blood is traumatizing, trust me. But Su Ming drops their jaws, casually swatting their archer just to prove playtime is officially over. Su Ming counters that arrogant threat with a terrifyingly cheerful smirk plastered across his face. He happily admits that crushing them is pure entertainment, meaning their pathetic existence equals absolutely zero.